Good morning, everyone. This is Deborah. I have my sweat rag on for when I work out in my garden today. I need to tighten it. Yeah, I can't stand sweat running down in my eyes because it burns. Yeah. Okay, I went out to dinner last night with my granddaughter. We celebrated. She's now a manager of a famous restaurant here in town. So she actually got a cocktail, and she's really not a drinker. She didn't even know what's in drinks, and her fiance, Terry, was with her, and we are so happy to see each other because I haven't seen her, I guess, for about two and a half months. That we didn't even eat her dinner. We just told the waitress to box it up, right? And we always do that anyway because we're just so happy to see each other. So I told you I went on the dating sites, and let me tell you what. There's a lot of single men in Durham, North Carolina. If any of you girls are on those dating sites, move to North Carolina. It's too far for me, so. I even got a guy to contact me from Dahlgren, Virginia, which is where I just moved from, people. Oh my God. Now I'm waiting on a guy this morning to, that'll be an ongoing saga, I'm sure. I've already researched everything I need to research. And to look at my AC, I put it on 71 4 or 5 days ago, and it was 94 inside my house. It is hot, which is why I have to wear my hair up. So I know it's going to be a battle. It's going to be weeks, I know. And I prayed about it last night. I said, please, God, let this be an easy one, because I have a home warranty, and the warranty company only designates certain people to come out. And it says right in the contract that if you're rude to their people, they can drop you. Then you lose your $900. So yeah, you gotta be very cautious. You can't accost anybody or call them names. So, but I'm gonna record everything because I have a tendency to forget. I got a short-term memory loss, but I ordered a steak last night, and that was delicious. Oh. And let's see, we went to Walmart, and whenever you're going to like Home Depot or Lowe's or Walmart and you want to go get their nursery, their mulch, or their potting soil in those huge bags, I did not know the process, because since I owned a tree company for 40 years, I had mulch piles that were 10 stories high that took over at least 5 acres of my land. So, and I didn't want for nothing. I had my own set of gardening tools. I painted them pink because sometimes the employees, if they broke something, they would sneak down to my house and take mine. But I always knew it because it was painted pink. So I bought a rake last night. Now when I was living in Front Royal, I had all my gardening tools. I'm about to sneeze. But somehow when I was getting ready to move, I'm going to sneeze, they were nowhere to be found. And I lent my very nice easel to my niece, and somehow I didn't get that. And those things are not cheap, people. So I got 5 bags of mulch. Now I researched the mulch. The black mulch will fade, so why even get it? So I just got the brown mulch. I think the red mulch, I just don't like red in the yard unless it's a geranium. So because I need to put 2 planters by my front door, because I bought this rug and it's so light. It's made out of like plastic or wicker. It blows all over my porch, so I need to anchor it down with planters. So I had to look for plants that were low shade plants or hardly any sun. So that took a while. So I gave my grocery list. I was going to do Instacart, but they tack on after everything like $40. I go, that's ridiculous. I'd rather put $40 in my granddaughter's pocket. So I gave her a 5 page grocery list. I haven't bought groceries at all since I've lived here, and I've been here for about 3 months. Now, I have gone and gotten like, $30 worth once at Walmart. So she did all my grocery shopping. Well, they learned about onions. Her fiance I wanted Vidalia or sweet onions, and he brought me yellow onions. And I had to give him an onion lesson at the cashier's. And she was an elderly black lady. She was laughing her ass off. I said, a Vidalia is a sweet onion, and it's got its own little shape. And he goes, well, what about a red onion? I said, a red onion is what you can put raw on submarines, subs. And I said, yellow onions is what you use to cook. I said, but since I'm making meatloaf, the yellow onions would be fine, because, if it's cooked in the oven. So he got a lesson on onions, which was so funny. Now, I always get Vidalia because then I can use that for everything. You know what I mean? I love meatloaf with mashed potatoes. My Christmas cup. I only got 3 coffee cups in my whole house. So this guy could come between 11 and 3 today. Who knows? I'm going to be very polite, very mannerable. I'm not going to run my mouth. I'm just going to show him. He may have a heart attack when he goes into my crawl space and he sees all that goddamn, all those mothballs. Now, I picked up all the mothballs because they were making me deathly ill. Honey, they are toxic to humans and pets. So I think while I'm down there, if he mentions it, I'm going to bring a plastic bag and some gloves and pick some of them up, because there's no way he could work down there with that smell. But it keeps at the cats. Now, when I came home yesterday, I was gone for like 3 hours. There was 4 cats on my front steps. They must love me. I don't know what it is. But one of them was wallowing around my lilac bush that I had just planted. And I don't never want to be mean to an animal, but thank God. I'm going to have to put some rocks or sticks or something around some of my newest plantings because they're fragile. So while I was sitting at the restaurant, I started scratching. Honey, I got poison ivy. And it spreads fast on me. Let me tell you my poison ivy story. Whenever I didn't want to go to school, I was stupid. I actually rub it on me. I don't know, but I love going to school. I was one of these weird kids. I just loved it. I love learning. So, yeah, I would rub poison ivy on me. Well, after a while, I realized it was miserable. And sometimes I would get it on my back, and my mother knew that I had been in the woods with a boy down the street. I was going steady with him, but we were only like, 13 or 14. Our clothes were on. I said, well, maybe my clothes were off if I got poison ivy on my back. I don't know. Maybe I'm telling you too much, but whatever. He was my very first boyfriend. Yeah, poison ivy. I have had it so bad as a child that this arm was so thick with the pus that I couldn't bend it. And a lot of my uncles, they would like saying, oh my God. Sometimes my mother would take me to the doctor, more times not. But when I became an adult, I had to go and get, especially my son, because when he would work on the tree crew, he would get it badly. My ex-husband almost died because his father was burning poison ivy and he inhaled it and he was near death. You can't do that, people. And if you're not sure it's poison ivy, because poison ivy has different looks. It could be, I forgot. It could be sumac. It's not always about the 3 leaves, but I would never, if you're not sure, if you're not positive, never burn it. So I was weed whacking again around my garden plants. And I think I weed whacked a plant that just brushed up against my hand or my ankle, because I got it now on my ankle and hand. So I will have to go get a shot. Now I've gotten that shot before, because everybody in my family went to the same doctor for like 25, 30 years. He's now retired. Maybe he's passed now. But that injection felt like hot coffee going in your veins. and my son would get the same shot. But I also found out the Medrol dose pack. I will spell that for you. M as in Mary, E, D as in Debbie, ROL. It is a steroid. It's like a pack, looks like birth control. If you just take one of those pills at night, in the morning, your poison ivy's gone. It is a miracle if you suffer from poison ivy. So, but you should never take my advice about medicine. But I'm just telling you my experience. So go get your coffee. So yeah, I got poison ivy. So I got, I bought a rake, some mulch. I bought ant killer because the first thing my granddaughter noticed is, Nanny, you got ants. And if you got a lot of ants and they're making their little homes, you can't get grass to grow because they make those little ant hills. So I'm going to put some of that down today. I planted 2 of my elephant ears, and I'm going to do a walk around my garden probably later on the week so y'all can get a big laugh, because because I'm disabled, I can't run a rototiller. I would be in the hospital if I did. Even hoeing just a teeny bit will put me in the bed the next day, but I have to. I had to, make a hole for the plant. So I got a lot of cucumbers and 2 cherry tomato plants and 1 regular tomato plant. I got hot peppers, green peppers, squash, straight neck squash, cooked neck squash. I used to can, but I found out that if you have well water, certain waters will not let your vegetables, after you can them, they will be tainted. I would just do a test batch, because when I lived in Fredericksburg, we had a lot of sulfur. It smelled like rotten eggs, and it would turn all of my whites yellow. It would just make me sick. But yeah, depending on water, when you're canning, it could taint your canning. But one year I made the best bread and butter pickles. Oh my God, people were coming to my house to get them. My mother was very good. So was her grandmother and mother. I snuck in her basement once when she lived in Northumberland in Heathsville. Took some of her canning and entered it into a fair in Whitestone, Virginia. And she won. She won. Yeah. So look at that. Oh my gosh. So the trial yesterday was kind of boring. It's kind of boring. The way I see the trial now is they're both kind of guilty of abuse. And that's sad. But I do think that Amber did have some emotional codependent problems. She didn't like Johnny to leave, and then she would instigate a fight to keep him to stay. But so many people, when they make all those millions and make that kind of money, they just think they're going to live forever, and then they get involved in drugs. It's a no-win situation. But I think the general public loves Johnny Depp, and I don't think it may have hurt his career 2 years ago, but I think he's already got a role, I believe, in London or Paris. I just found out he is selling a whole town. He owns like 27 acres, or was it 30? He owns a whole town. He also owns his own island. He has many, many homes. But I knew one thing. All of Amber's circle of friends and sister was just living in the penthouses, that Johnny owned 5 of them. But enough about that. I will let you guys go, and hopefully I won't have to go to the doctor. But I feel it coming. I said scratching poison ivy is sometimes better than sex. You know what I mean? I think so. Bye.